Code number 1. The Voynich Manuscript. The Voynich Manuscript, carbon dating places it around 1420, 600 years old, 240 pages of illustrated text, written in an unknown script, in an unknown language, about unknown subjects. The manuscript is named after Wilfrid Voynich, Polish book dealer who acquired it in 1912. But it existed long before him. Its history traces back to the Holy Roman Empire, possibly to Roger Bacon in the 13th century. Though that's disputed, the text fills every page, approximately 35,000 words, written left to right in flowing script. The characters look like letters. They repeat. They combine in patterns. They behave like language, but nobody recognizes the alphabet. The manuscript is divided into sections. Each section has illustrations. The botanical section shows plants, but they're not real plants. They have bizarre features, multiple root systems, impossible flower structures. No botanist can identify them. The astronomical section shows circular diagrams, stars, moons, zodiac symbols, celestial charts, but they don't match any known astronomical system. The biological section is the strangest. Drawings of naked women bathing in green liquid, interconnected pools and tubes, human-like figures in plumbing systems. What does it mean? Nobody knows. The pharmaceutical section shows more plants and recipes, probably medicinal preparations, if the text could be read. Cryptographers have been trying to decode the Voynich manuscript for over a century. During World War II, codebreakers who cracked enemy ciphers attempted it. They failed. Modern computers have analyzed it, still unsolved. The text shows statistical properties of natural language, letter frequency distributions similar to real languages. Some characters appear more often than others. Words have varying lengths. Patterns suggest grammar, but no language matches it. It's not Latin, not any European language, not Arabic or Hebrew, not Chinese or Sanskrit, not any known language, living or dead. Some researchers claim they've decoded parts, suggested it's Turkish written with vowels removed, or Italian in code, or early Ukrainian. Every proposed solution falls apart under scrutiny. None explain the full text consistently. Carbon dating the vellum confirms 1420. The ink is consistent with that period. It's not a modern hoax. Someone in the 15th century spent enormous effort creating this manuscript. But why? Was it a medical text in cipher to protect trade secrets? Was it an elaborate hoax by a medieval con artist selling a mysterious book to royalty? Is it the work of someone mentally ill, creating an imaginary language? Or is it something else? A language that went extinct before being documented. A code so sophisticated it's resisted 600 years of attempts? The Voynich manuscript sits in Yale's Beinecke Rare Book Library, fully digitized, available online. Anyone can attempt to decode it. Thousands have tried. It remains unbroken. Moving to code number 2. Code number 2. The Zodiac Killer Ciphers, Northern California. Late 1960s. A serial killer murdered at least 5 people, possibly more. He called himself Zodiac, and he sent encrypted letters to newspapers. Zodiac sent 4 ciphers. 2 were solved. 2 remain unsolved. The first cipher, sent August 1969, was cracked within a week. 408 symbols. Substitute cipher. Amateur codebreakers Donald and Betty Harden solved it. The message was disturbing. Zodiac described killing as the most thrilling experience, talked about collecting slaves for the afterlife. The solution proved Zodiac was real. The letters weren't hoaxes. This was an actual killer communicating. But Zodiac sent more ciphers, and they were harder. The 340 cipher, sent November 1969, 340 symbols. Zodiac claimed it contained his identity. My name is 50 years, thousands of attempts, professional cryptographers, amateurs, computer algorithms. Nobody could crack it. Until December 2020. A team of 3 amateur codebreakers solved it. David Oranchak, Sam Blake, and Jarl van Eyck. They used a combination of pattern recognition and computer analysis. The message was disappointing. No name. Zodiac taunted police, complained about movies and TV shows, denied he was a certain suspect, but crucially, no identity revealed. That leaves two unsolved Zodiac ciphers, the 320 cipher, also called the Z32, sent April 1970, part of a letter. Just 32 symbols. Too short for standard cryptanalysis, not enough data for pattern analysis. Zodiac wrote, "The map coupled with this code will tell you where the bomb is set." What map? What bomb? Was he serious or playing games? The Z32 remains unsolved. And there's another. Possibly. The My Name is Cipher. Some researchers believe a section of a 1970 letter contains a hidden cipher revealing Zodiac's name. Others think it's just rambling text. The debate continues. Why couldn't the 340 be cracked for 50 years? It used a more complex method than the 408. Multiple symbols for single letters, misspellings, errors, deliberate mistakes to complicate analysis. Modern computers can test billions of combinations, but if the cipher uses an unusual key, or if the creator made mistakes, or if it's not a standard cipher system, computers struggle. Human intuition becomes necessary. The 340 was solved by humans recognizing patterns computers missed. The Z32 remains locked. Possibly it's too short to solve definitively. Multiple solutions might fit. Without more data, we can't verify which solution is correct. Or maybe it's not a real cipher. Maybe Zodiac included it to waste police time. He enjoyed manipulating authorities. Sending a fake cipher would fit his personality. Zodiac was never identified, never caught. He stopped communicating in 1974. Either died or moved, or changed methods. His identity remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in criminal history. And his Z32 cipher remains unbroken, possibly containing information about a bomb, possibly containing nothing. We may never know. Moving to Code 3 in Part 2. Code number 3. Kryptos, Langley, Virginia. CIA Headquarters. In the courtyard stands a sculpture, installed in 1990, created by artist Jim Sanborn. It's called Kryptos, Greek for hidden. The sculpture is a copper screen, curved like an S, covered in letters. Exactly 1,735 characters, 4 distinct sections, each section encrypted differently. This is a code installed at the CIA by design. As a challenge, for the best codebreakers in the world, 3 sections have been solved, 1 remains. Section 1 was cracked in 1999 by CIA analyst David Stein. It describes the opening of King Tut's tomb. Poetic language about discovery and mystery. Section 2 was solved around the same time by NSA computer scientist Jim Gillogly. It describes something buried, references coordinates. The style is cryptic. Section 3 took longer, finally solved in 1999. It's a quote from archaeologist Howard Carter describing what he saw when opening Tutankhamun's tomb. Wonderful things. But Section 4, 97 characters, still unsolved, over 30 years. The CIA's own cryptographers can't crack it, despite it being literally in their courtyard, despite it being their specialty. Sanborn has given clues over the years. In 2010, he revealed that characters 64 through 69 spell Berlin. In 2014, he revealed positions 70 through 74 spell clock. These clues haven't led to full solution, because we don't know the cipher method. Is it a substitution cipher like the earlier sections? Or something different? Sanborn is an artist, not a cryptographer. His methods are unconventional. He stated the solution will be anticlimactic. It's not revealing state secrets. It's philosophical, about information and secrecy. But even knowing that, nobody can solve it. The sculpture has become legendary in cryptography circles. Solving Kryptos K4 is a badge of honor. Online communities collaborate. Computer scientists run algorithms. Nothing works. Sanborn has said there's an error in the sculpture, A letter was accidentally omitted. This complicates solving, because we don't know which letter is missing or where. In 2020, Sanborn gave another clue. Characters 26 through 34 spell northeast, so we have Berlin, clock, and northeast, suggesting a location, Berlin, northeast, and a clock. But 3 words out of 97 characters isn't enough. The cipher remains locked. Sanborn has stated he has the solution in a sealed envelope, in case he dies before it's solved. He wants it solved eventually, but not yet. He's enjoying watching cryptographers struggle. There's irony here. The CIA's mission includes breaking enemy codes, yet they can't solve the code in their own courtyard, a code created by an artist, using methods that defy professional cryptanalysis. Kryptos stands as a monument to the limits of code breaking, even with supercomputers, even with the best minds. Some codes resist all attempts, moving to code 4. Code number 4. The Beale Ciphers. 1822. Thomas Jefferson Beale allegedly buried treasure in Bedford County, Virginia. Gold, silver, and jewels worth over $60 million in today's value. He encrypted 3 messages describing the treasure's location, contents, and rightful owners. In 1865, a pamphlet was published revealing the story and the 3 ciphers. The pamphlet claims Beale gave a locked box to a hotel owner. The box contained the 3 encrypted messages and instructions to open it if Beale didn't return within 10 years. Beale never returned. The hotel owner eventually opened the box, found 3 pages of numbers. Each cipher is a series of numbers, ranging from 1 to over 2,000. The numbers supposedly reference words in a key text. Cipher number 2 was solved, using the United States Declaration of Independence as the key. Each number corresponds to a word in the Declaration. Taking the first letter of each word reveals the message. The decoded message describes the treasure, approximately 4 tons of gold, 2 tons of silver, jewels worth substantial value, buried 6 feet deep in Bedford County, in iron pots, covered with stone. Exciting. Except ciphers 1 and 3 remain unsolved. Cipher 1 supposedly contains the exact location. Cipher 3 lists the treasure's rightful owners. Without Cipher 1, the treasure cannot be found. Without Cipher 3, even if found, we don't know who should receive it. Thousands have tried to solve the Beale ciphers, using the Declaration of Independence, using other historical documents, the Constitution, the Articles of Confederation, the Bible, Shakespeare. Nothing works. Computer analysis has been applied, testing millions of texts as potential keys. No solution found for ciphers 1 and 3. Here's where it gets suspicious. Many researchers believe the Beale ciphers are a hoax, created by the pamphlet's author, to sell pamphlets, to launch a treasure hunt that would never succeed. Evidence supporting the hoax theory is substantial. Thomas Jefferson Beale cannot be verified historically. No records of his existence. The writing style in the pamphlet is consistent with the pamphlet's publisher, James Ward. Linguistic analysis suggests one author wrote everything. The Declaration of Independence as a key for Cipher 2 is convenient. Too convenient. Why would Beale use such a famous document? It seems designed to give treasure hunters hope, to make them think the other ciphers use similar famous texts. But despite probable hoax status, people keep trying. Because what if it's real? What if $60 million in treasure actually exists? The Beale ciphers have been called one of the most famous unsolved codes in the world. They've inspired books, documentaries, countless treasure hunts. Bedford County has been dug up repeatedly by hopeful treasure seekers. If it's a hoax, it's remarkably successful. Nearly 200 years later, people still believe, still search, still try to crack ciphers 1 and 3. If it's real, the treasure remains buried, waiting for someone to find the right key text, to decode Cipher 1, to locate the exact spot. Either way, the Beale ciphers remain unsolved, and probably unsolvable, because they likely contain no real information, just random numbers designed to look like code. Moving to Code 5 in Part 3. Code number 5. The Dorabella Cipher, July 14, 1897. English composer Edward Elgar sent a letter to his friend Dora Penny. In the letter, he included a strange enciphered note, 87 characters, 3 lines. Arranged in what looks like an intentional pattern, the cipher uses symbols, curved lines, resembling musical notation, but not quite. They're semicircular arcs with 1 to 3 dots, oriented in different directions. Elgar never explained it, never provided the key. When asked about it later in life, he claimed he couldn't remember what it said. Maybe he genuinely forgot, or maybe he was being playful. Elgar loved puzzles and wordplay. Dora Penny, nicknamed Dorabella, kept the letter her whole life, never solved it. She was the intended recipient. If she couldn't decode it, how can we? The cipher is short. 87 characters isn't much data for cryptanalysis. Pattern analysis requires sufficient text. With so few characters, multiple solutions might fit. Researchers have proposed dozens of solutions over the past century. Some claim it's a simple substitution cipher. Others suggest it's steganography, hidden meaning within innocent appearance. Some think it's musical notation disguised as cipher. One theory proposes it's a love letter. Elgar may have had romantic feelings for Dora. The cipher could express what he couldn't say directly, but Dora was engaged to someone else at the time. If Elgar was confessing feelings, she showed no indication of understanding. Computer analysis has been attempted, frequency analysis, pattern matching, testing various cipher systems. No consensus solution has emerged. The Elgar Society, dedicated to Edward Elgar's legacy, has studied the cipher extensively. They've published papers analyzing it, invited cryptographers to attempt solutions. Nobody has definitively cracked it. Part of the problem is verification. Even if someone proposes a plausible solution, how do we verify it's correct? Elgar is dead. Dora is dead. No key exists. A solution might seem reasonable, but be completely wrong. Some researchers believe the cipher has no meaning. Elgar may have created random symbols as a joke, or as an affectionate tease toward Dora, giving her a puzzle he knew she couldn't solve. Perhaps finding her frustration amusing. If that's true, cryptographers have spent over a century trying to decode meaningless symbols, a prank that outlasted its creator by decades. But the structure suggests meaning. The symbols aren't random. They repeat in patterns. Some characters appear multiple times. The arrangement feels deliberate. It looks like it should mean something. The Dorabella cipher remains one of the most famous unsolved codes in musical history. A mystery created by one of England's greatest composers. A message to a friend that neither she nor anyone else has ever read. Moving to Code 6. Code number 6. The Tamám Shud case. December 1st, 1948. Somerton Beach, Adelaide, Australia. A man's body found on the sand. Well-dressed, no identification, no labels on his clothes. All identifying marks removed. He had been poisoned. But with what poison, forensics couldn't determine. No substance detected. Yet signs pointed to fatal poisoning. In his pocket, police found a scrap of paper, torn from a book, 2 words printed on it. Tamám Shud, Persian phrase meaning ended or finished. The final words of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a collection of Persian poems. Police searched for the book the scrap came from. Months later, a man came forward. He'd found a copy of the Rubaiyat in his car, thrown through the open window. On the back cover, someone had written a series of letters, a code, 5 lines of text, capital letters. Some crossed out, random arrangement, no obvious pattern. Virgo ababd emliawa, wuti bimpanet, mlia boyal qc ittmt samsgabe. What does it mean? Nobody knows. 70 years of attempts. Professional cryptographers, amateur codebreakers, computer algorithms. The code resists all solutions. Analysis shows unusual patterns. Some letters repeat. The sequence MLIAOI appears twice. This suggests non-random text. True codes have structure. Random letters don't repeat sequences. But what cipher system? Not simple substitution. The frequency distribution doesn't match any language. Not transposition. Rearranging letters produces gibberish. Not using standard cipher books or methods. Some researchers suggest it's a one-time pad. Unbreakable encryption, using a random key used once. If that's true, the code cannot be solved without the original key, and the key died with the Somerton man. Others propose it's not a code at all. Maybe it's initials, first letters of words in a phrase or poem. But what phrase? Millions of possibilities. No way to narrow down. The Somerton man's identity remained unknown for 70 years. In 2022, advanced DNA analysis suggested a possible identity. Derek Abbott, a professor who studied the case for years, believed the man was Charles Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne. But confirmation is difficult. Webb's family has disputed the identification. The evidence is circumstantial. And even if Webb is the Somerton man, we're no closer to solving the code. Below the code, a phone number was written. Police traced it to a nurse named Jessica Thompson. She denied knowing the dead man, seemed nervous during questioning. Later recanted, admitting she knew him during the war, but claimed not to know his fate. Thompson had a son born in 1949, 9 months after the Somerton man's death. Some researchers speculate the Somerton man was the father. DNA testing could have confirmed this, but Thompson's son died before testing could be arranged. The case is filled with mysteries. The man's identity, his cause of death, the code, the connection to Jessica Thompson, why all labels were removed from his clothes, why he was on that beach. And that code. Those 5 lines of seemingly random letters, written carefully, preserved, important enough to keep, yet impossible to decode. The Tamám Shud cipher remains unsolved, a mystery within a mystery, connected to one of Australia's most baffling cold cases. Moving to Code 7 in Part 4. Code number 7. The Shugborough Inscription, Staffordshire, England. Shugborough Estate, an 18th century monument called the Shepherd's Monument, built around 1750. On the monument is a relief sculpture, copy of a painting by Nicholas Poussin, The Shepherds of Arcadia. Below the sculpture, carved in stone, is a sequence of letters: O, U, O, S, V, A, V, V, D, M. 8 letters in the center. O and U raised to the left. D and M on either side at the bottom. What does it mean? Over 270 years of speculation. No confirmed solution. The inscription has attracted attention from historians, cryptographers, and conspiracy theorists. Charles Darwin allegedly tried to decode it. Charles Dickens studied it. Josiah Wedgwood attempted solutions. All failed. Theories abound. Some suggest it's a love dedication. The letters stand for Latin phrases. Out your own sweet veil, Alicia, vanquishes all gloom, or similar romantic sentiments. But scholars find these forced. The Latin doesn't work smoothly. Others propose religious meanings, references to the Bible, secret Catholic messages during a time of Protestant dominance. But verification is impossible. The most intriguing theory connects it to the Knights Templar and the Holy Grail. The Poussin painting contains hidden symbolism, according to some researchers. The inscription could reference locations, treasure, sacred relics, but this ventures into speculative territory. No evidence supports Templar connections. It's possible, but unproven. The D and M letters are particularly puzzling. Why separate them from the main sequence? They could be initials or abbreviations, or part of the cipher itself. Some cryptographers suggest it's not a code at all, just initials of people involved in commissioning the monument, a memorial, a dedication, the letters standing for names we no longer remember. The problem with the Shugborough inscription is context. We don't know its purpose. Without understanding why it was created, solving it becomes guesswork. Any proposed solution requires assumptions about intent. The monument was commissioned by Thomas Anson and his brother George. Both died without explaining the inscription. If they knew the meaning, they took it to their graves. Modern analysis using computers hasn't helped. Too few characters, too ambiguous. Multiple solutions can be made to fit. None can be verified. The Shugborough inscription remains one of Britain's most famous unsolved codes. A message in stone, carved for posterity, yet impossible to read. Moving to Code 8. Code number 8. The Dagapeyev Cipher, 1939. Alexander Dagapeyev published a textbook, Codes and Ciphers, An Introduction to Cryptography. The book explained various cipher systems, how to create codes, how to break them. At the end of the book, Dagapeyev included a challenge cipher for readers to practice their skills, a series of numbers, arranged in groups. He provided no solution, expected readers to solve it using techniques taught in the book. Nobody solved it. Not in 1939. Not in the 80-plus years since. The cipher consists of numbers arranged in several rows: 75628 2859162 916 48164 917 485 846 4747 48 2848 38163 81817 4748 262 6475 8382 849175 7465 8375 7575 93636 565 8163 8175 857 575 6462 829 285 7463 827 574 838165 818 4856485 64858 56000 382 72,628 36,281 81,700 28 16,463 75,828 16,483 63,828 58,163 63,600 3,474,882 84,656 48,565 62,946 26,285 91,859 17,491 72,756 46,575 71,658 36,000 264 74,818 28,462 82,649 18,193 65,626 48,484 91,800 38 57,491 81,657 27,483 83,858 28,364 62,726 26,000 562 83,759 27,263 82,827 27,283 82,858 47,000 582 81,837 28,000 462 82,837 58,164 75,748 58,162 92,000 Dagapeyev never published the solution. In later editions of the book, the cipher was removed. When asked about it decades later, Dagapeyev claimed he'd forgotten the method he used. He couldn't solve his own cipher. This is remarkable. A cryptographer creating a cipher he later cannot break. Either he used a method so complex he forgot the details, or he made an error creating it, making it unsolvable. Cryptographers have analyzed the Dagapeyev cipher extensively. It shows some statistical properties suggesting it's not random. Number frequencies indicate structure, but no standard cipher method works. If Dagapeyev made a mistake, used the wrong key, or applied the cipher incorrectly, the cipher might be impossible to solve. It could be gibberish generated by error, looking like code but containing no information. Or maybe Dagapeyev was playing a deeper game. Perhaps he knew the cipher was unsolvable, included it as a lesson, demonstrating that not all apparent codes can be broken, teaching humility to aspiring codebreakers. Some researchers believe they've found the error. Dagapeyev may have enciphered the text twice by mistake, applied 2 layers of encryption. To solve it, you'd need to reverse both steps. But without knowing what steps he took, this is nearly impossible. The cipher has become a legendary challenge. Professional cryptographers have attempted it. Computer scientists have run sophisticated algorithms. Nothing produces meaningful text. It's possible the solution is in Russian. Degapeyev was born in Russia. If he enciphered Russian text using English cipher methods, standard analysis would fail. English letter frequencies don't match Russian, but attempts using Russian as the plaintext have also failed. The Degapeyev cipher represents a unique category, a code created by an expert, intended to be solvable, yet defeating all attempts, including the creator's own efforts. It's a reminder that ciphers can be fragile. One error, one forgotten step, and a message becomes permanently locked, even from the person who locked it. Moving to the final two codes in Part 5. Code number 9. The Phaistos disk. Crete, July 1908. Italian archaeologist Luigi Pernier excavated the Minoan palace of Phaistos. In a basement room, he found a clay disk, 6 inches in diameter, both sides covered in stamped symbols. The Phaistos disk dates to approximately 1700 BC, Bronze Age, over 3,700 years old. It's one of the oldest examples of printing. The symbols were stamped into wet clay using individual seals. Each side has a spiral of symbols, starting at the edge, spiraling inward. 242 symbols total, 45 distinct symbol types. Pictures of humans, animals, plants, tools, weapons. But we can't read it. We don't know the language. We don't recognize the script. The symbols don't match any known writing system from that era or region. Linear A and Linear B were used in Crete during the Bronze Age. Linear B has been deciphered. It's an early form of Greek. But the Phaistos disk doesn't use Linear A or B. It's something else entirely. The disk is unique. No other artifacts use this script. No Rosetta Stone to help decode it. Nothing to compare it to. It's an orphan artifact, one of a kind. Researchers have proposed hundreds of theories. That it's Minoan, that it's from Anatolia, that it's a religious text, a calendar, a game board, a prayer, a poem, a list of soldiers. Computer analysis has been applied. Pattern recognition, statistical analysis, attempts to identify the language family. Nothing conclusive. One major problem, 242 symbols isn't much text. Not enough data for robust statistical analysis. Natural languages show patterns that emerge over thousands of words. The disk has the equivalent of maybe 30 to 40 words. Some scholars believe it's not writing at all. Maybe it's decorative, symbolic, representing concepts rather than language. If true, it's not decipherable, because it doesn't encode words. Others suggest it's a fake, a 20th century creation, but the disk has been authenticated. The clay and firing technique match Bronze Age Minoan pottery. The archaeological context supports genuine antiquity. The most frustrating aspect, we'll probably never solve it, unless archaeologists discover more artifacts using the same script. Unless we find a bilingual text. The Phaistos disk will remain unreadable. It sits in the Heraklion Archaeological Museum in Crete, a beautiful mystery. Symbols from an unknown culture. A message frozen in clay for 3,700 years that nobody can understand. Moving to the final code. Code number 10. The Rohanks Codex, Hungary. The Rohank Codex. A manuscript discovered in the Hungarian Academy of Sciences. Origin unknown. Age uncertain. Provenance unclear. 448 pages. Covered in symbols. Completely undeciphered. The codex surfaced in 1838. Donated to the Academy by Count Gustav Battiani. His collection included many rare books, but the Rohanks Codex stood out. Nobody could identify its language or script. The text runs right to left, using approximately 200 distinct symbols. The symbols resemble no known alphabet. They're complex. Varying in size, some appear frequently, others are rare. The manuscript includes illustrations, religious scenes, similar to Christian imagery, crucifixion, resurrection, biblical events, but with unusual elements. The style doesn't match European traditions exactly. This has led to theories about its origin. Some suggest it's medieval Hungarian, Others propose Romanian. Some claim it's from India. Or it's a constructed language. Or it's a hoax. Carbon dating the paper places it between 1550 and the early 19th century. The paper is genuine, old, but that doesn't tell us who wrote it or in what language. Cryptographic analysis has been attempted, treating it as a cipher, testing various decryption methods. Nothing works. The symbol frequency distribution doesn't match any known language. Linguistic analysis suggests structure. The symbols combine in ways resembling grammar. Words appear to exist. Sentences, paragraphs. It behaves like language, but not any language linguists recognize. In 1970, a Hungarian linguist claimed to have decoded parts. He suggested it was Old Hungarian mixed with Daco-Romanian. His solution was disputed. Other scholars found his methodology flawed. The proposed translation didn't hold up. Modern attempts using computers have been no more successful. Machine learning algorithms trained on various languages can't find matches. The codex resists classification. Some researchers believe it's a hoax, an elaborate fake created to look like an ancient, mysterious manuscript, perhaps by Count Bathiani himself, or someone selling it to him. But the effort required would be enormous. 448 pages of consistent script, complex illustrations. For what purpose? If it's a hoax, the forger spent years creating something that gained them nothing. Others propose it's genuine but untranslatable, a language that went extinct, a culture that disappeared, their writing system dying with them. If true, the Voynich Codex is the only surviving example, making decipherment nearly impossible. The codex remains in the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, occasionally studied, but mostly sitting, a book that cannot be read, symbols that cannot be understood, a mystery that may never be solved. Conclusion. 10 codes, 10 unsolved ciphers, the Voynich manuscript with its botanical impossibilities, the Zodiac killer's Z-32 taunting police, Kryptos standing in the CIA courtyard unbroken, the Beale ciphers promising treasure that might not exist, the Dorabella cipher from a famous composer, the Tamám Shud code from a dead man's pocket, the Shugborough inscription carved in stone, Dagapayev's cipher that defeated its own creator, the Phaistos disk from Bronze Age Crete, and the Voynich Codex that might be medieval or might be modern fraud. Some of these are probably hoaxes, random symbols designed to look like codes. Others are genuine messages we simply lack the key to decode. A few might be errors, mistakes that created unsolvable puzzles. What makes a code unbreakable? Sometimes it's insufficient data, too few characters for pattern analysis. Sometimes it's one-time pads, perfect encryption that's mathematically uncrackable without the key. Sometimes it's unknown languages, writing systems that disappeared, cultural context we've lost, or it's errors, creators applying ciphers incorrectly, creating gibberish that looks like code. And sometimes it's genius, methods so sophisticated they resist centuries of analysis. This is Detective Vera Nash, closing case file 1051, 10 codes and ciphers that remain unsolved. Some may never be broken. Others might fall to future cryptographers with better tools, better insights, or better luck. The codes wait, silent, locked, keeping their secrets, challenging everyone who attempts them, proving that some mysteries resist all efforts to reveal them. What do you think? Are any of these solvable? Have you tried to crack them yourself? Do you believe the Beale treasure exists? What does the Voynich manuscript say? Share your theories in the comments. Maybe you'll see something everyone else has missed. Maybe you'll be the one to finally crack one of these legendary codes. Until next time, remember, some secrets are meant to be kept, and some codes are meant to stay locked, because the mystery itself is more valuable than the solution. Case closed.